Do you wear busy like it's a badge of honor? That's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the busy badge and how we in our society where everybody's busy, everybody's doing something, it's very easy to confuse or conflate busyness with being important or feeling like it's being busy is necessary for finding purpose in meaning, because that is just not true. And it's so easy to feel like we have to wear that busy badge. I'm Dr. Kit Slies. I am a psychologist and life coach, and I'm here to inspire your confidence, your self-compassion, and your growth. And like I said, I want to get into the busy badge today. I am somebody who I feel like I'm pretty good at separating work from home life and balancing periods of busyness and productivity with making sure I've got downtime, disconnecting from certain kinds of productivity, immersing myself in other things that feel fulfilling and restful and rejuvenating. But even I am not immune to the busy badge. I used to work in a clinic setting, providing services in primary care. And as you can imagine, healthcare, it is very busy. If you're not busy, it feels like you're doing something wrong because you probably are. It's just almost impossible to not be busy in that setting. And I even remember just getting to a point where I was observing myself become busier and busier and busier, working longer hours, taking more time to go above and beyond because everybody around you is busy. Everybody's busy. And it really does feel like, oh my gosh, they are so important because they're so busy, right? When you see your neighbor next to you over there working really hard. And people, I think, in our culture, in our society, we when we become busy, we do feel that sense of importance, like, hey, look how much I'm doing, look how great I am over here. And it's not that that's not true, that being it's not that being productive isn't important or anything like that, but it's confusing the busyness with some aspect of your identity and importance, and depending on the busyness for that. I think it's easy because what happens when you feel like, okay, I'm important because I'm busy. Well, what happens when you need some downtime? Now you're at risk of feeling bad about yourself because you're not busy when your body is just telling you something that you need. And so when I worked in a clinic, I started to wear the busy badge, even though, as I said, I'm pretty good at feeling like I can achieve that balance and prioritizing it. I too began to wear the busy badge as a badge of honor. And over time, it began to take its toll on me to the point where, I was overthinking and feeling fatigued and overwhelmed and feeling like I couldn't let go of some of the busyness, because if I did, I felt like my world would come crashing down around me and I had to take a step back. It ultimately led to me leaving the clinic setting and going into business on my own, where I could have a little bit more control over that, and I didn't have to be constantly comparing myself to other people around me who are wearing the busy badge of honor, right? And so that has been really important and helpful for me. It's not the solution for everybody. Sometimes we are stuck in that environment. Sometimes we thrive in that environment, and there are other solutions to making sure that that busy badge doesn't become our identity badge or our importance badge. But even after I left my clinic setting and when I work for myself now, there are times when I still get stuck in that moment. The other night, I found myself feeling like, oh my gosh, there's all this stuff that I just need to get done, right? And it was later in the evening when I typically don't let myself focus on work or to-do list items. I do try to spend time with family or disconnect or do a creative project or something like that, spend time with friends. But for whatever reason, I was feeling like, no, I got to do this. I'm so important. I got to take care of all this stuff. And I found myself, I had a hard time sleeping that night. I turned the switch on my brain, right? And so that is the impact of wearing the busy badge. Our brains are not designed, for the most part, to be go, 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 constant stimuli, constant doing. When we do that, that is when we begin to experience fatigue, um, like a brain cloud, like we can't think clearly, overthinking, feeling like you can't turn off the thinking. That's what happens when we wear the busy badge. And that produces less quality, a reduced quality in our work. There's the law of diminishing returns. This has been researched as far as how many hours we can work in a week for the average person. Of course, there's individual variation, but it's that 36 to 40 hours where working up to that point, we're making great gains and being productive. But once you get up to that 36 to 40 hours, our productivity begins to level off. And if you go too much far beyond that, your productivity actually begins to decrease, right? So if you're constantly busy, what is that giving to you? That's the question. I'm telling you that if you're for most people, it's going to give you fatigue, brain fog, and diminished returns. And if you continue it long term, it can lead to things like burnout or anxiety or depression or things like that for some people, not for everybody. But burnout is a big one that we see a lot. And so the question for you, I think we all know this logically, intuitively on some level, right? there is such a thing as too much of a good thing. And if busy is a good thing for you, there can be too much of it. So the question for you is, what do you get out of being busy? If you are an overachiever, a high achiever, or you're wearing that busy badge of honor, what is it giving you? Does it help you feel important? Does it feel like the busy thing that you're engaged with is so much a part of your identity that you don't know what's going to be underneath when you peel back the busyness? What's underneath there? I mean, these are big questions. These are important questions to answer for yourself. What does the busyness give you? It's different for everybody, because you need to understand if you're interested in taking off the busy badge and trying to incorporate that downtime a little bit more, the question that you have to answer for yourself is, what does the busyness give you? Because if it is a fear of what's underneath it, that's something that you've got to explore and understand for yourself. Maybe slowly begin to rediscover parts of your identity that have nothing to do with being busy. You can slowly begin to reconnect with those parts of you so that you feel safe enough to see what's underneath the busyness, and so that you won't get to that point of burnout. Or if you're at that point of burnout, that's also a good time to reconnect with that part of yourself. And then the question is, if you're scaling back on the busyness, what are you filling that time with? It could be nothing. There's lots of data and research out there on the benefits of just being bored or engaging in mindfulness, which is just kind of being present and non-judgmentally aware with yourself. And we find that people who are bored and engage in mindfulness, there's so many profound benefits to that. One of the benefits of being bored is that in the time immediately after, we can be productive. So I tell my folks will say, oh no, I couldn't just stop and do nothing because I have to be productive. Being bored is actually productive because you're more productive after that downtime, right? But there's other benefits to that in terms of just quality of life, life satisfaction, mental wellness. There's so many benefits to that kind of downtime. And that downtime, it might look different for everybody. There's a time and a place for, Netflix and staring at a screen. That is not true downtime, though. Our brains are pretty actively involved in getting a dopamine rush that is still a taxing thing for us, right? We want actual downtime where we're actually recharging. One good question for yourself to ask is, have you taken some downtime recently? Did you feel more productive afterwards? That's a good sign. So just continue to take that downtime. If you took some downtime recently and you felt just as exhausted as before, that might be an indication that you're approaching or in the midst of burnout. It may be a good time to reach out to somebody, a friend, or somebody for some help. So I hope that I got you to ponder a little bit if you are wearing the busy badge of honor. And if so, what does that mean for you? Can you do some introspection and think about some changes that you want to be making? Little changes, just little shifts in your days or weeks to see how you can take off the busy badge and feel refreshed and rejuvenated and find meaning and purpose in other parts of your life. I hope that you found this helpful, and I'll see you next time. Bye.